Someone asks, am I getting screwed? I am replacing my roof after hail damage. They upsold me on ridge venting and Class 4 SBS shingles. It's on the contract. This is what they brought. It appears to be Class 3 shingles. I don't see anything for the ridge venting. Am I getting screwed? Which Atlas shingles would be the Class 4 SBS ones? I looked on their website, but couldn't be sure. And I admit Atlas's website is a little funky. But you're looking for Stormmaster, just like this person says in the comments. And I'd absolutely pitch a fit over bait and switch. Looks like they loaded it on the roof hoping you wouldn't see it. And I have to agree with this person. Because although these are a nice shingle, they do not cost what the Stormmaster costs. So yes, if they're not giving you what you're paying for, you're getting screwed. As far as the ridge vent, maybe they bring it out later. A lot of times I like to have the ridge vent left on the ground, but it sounds like they brought everything out themselves. You definitely should not let that slide. But speaking of ridge vent, this is my favorite comment about the ridge vent. Roll is garbage. You want individual plastic ridges, 4 feet. This is what they're talking about. You want that versus having this kind of ridge vent. Do you know why it's so important? Let me explain. This is important because it doesn't matter. And that's the truth of it. They both let air flow through. It doesn't matter. It does. Just the real important thing is to make sure you're not mixing two ventilation types. So if you have a ridge vent, you absolutely 100,000 million% do not want to have any of the turtle vents installed. You don't want to have turtle vents and ridge vent. You don't want to have ridge vent and a power vent. You don't want to have a power vent and turtle vents. This is hotly contested among roofers, but I promise you the science shows do not mix ventilation systems. Have one or the other. Now, as far as are you getting screwed? Yeah, if they're not going to install the shingles that you're paying for, you're 100% getting screwed. If they're not going to install the ridge vent that you're paying for, you're 100% getting screwed. And you have every right to put your foot down and insist upon getting what you pay for. In Class 4, the nice thing about those is simply the discount you're probably going to get from your insurance company. A lot of insurance carriers give a discount for installing Class 4 shingles on your home. And they want to see a receipt that you actually put that on there. So if you show them a receipt for Class 3s, guess what? No discount. Okay, so years ago in Billings, Montana, we had a hailstorm in the neighborhood where the hailstones were the size of softballs. I got called out to a lady's house. She had Malarkey Legacy shingles on. They're Class 4s. Held up great. Some bruising on a few shingles on a 50-some square roof. I bet you we probably would have only needed to replace a square's worth of shingles here and there that had some significant damage. But it was all superficial, which would be a problem down the road, but right now it's not going to cause a leak. Her sister lived across the street in the same cul-de-sac as her. 30-year shingles. It had actually ripped through the shingles and in some spots tore the underlayment, okay? So she's in a situation where she could have water getting in the house. Now, back across the street, the sister's next door neighbor had Class 4 shingles from another manufacturer. I had spots where I could put my finger all the way through the roof into the attic. And they were devastated. They did not hold up as well as the standard shingles just right across the street. And I'm not talking 500 yards away. I'm not talking half a mile away. I'm talking just right across the little street. So they got hit with the same kind of hail. So the big difference in having Class 4s is not that you won't get any damage. It's that the severity of it can be different, okay? You may not have to replace your roof. You may not even have to worry about leaks, whereas your neighbor might have such significant damage that they might have leaks if they had a standard shingle. That's the real difference you want to look for, okay? To have expectations that they'll never get damaged is a little bit unrealistic, but smaller hailstones, yes, it depends on the size of the hail. Now, one other key thing. This is where I think homeowners do get screwed. And this is a third place to consider getting screwed with a Class 4 shingle. A standard dimensional shingle architectural, dimensional, whatever you want to call them, laminate, whether it be a 30-year or a class 4, there is zero extra effort, steps, whatever, no other process. If I'm installing them, there is nothing different that I do. And a lot of contractors, especially the storm chasers, want to charge you more for the labor to install those shingles. And absolutely do not effing pay more for the labor. If it's a tri-lam, it takes more labor. If it's a presidential or a Grand Manor or some kind of specialty shingle, then yes, there needs to be more labor charge for that. But with the standard between a 30-year and a class 4, do not let them charge you anything extra for labor. In my mind, it's just like when you go to the tire shop. They don't charge, if you're getting snow tires put on or regular tires put on, it's the same freaking price for Mountain Balance, okay? It's only if there's something crazy that has to be done, are there any significantly other charges, like at a tire shop. And it should be the same here. You only should be paying for the difference in the cost of the material between the regular shingle and the class 4 shingle. If you call around to suppliers, you'll be able to get a good idea of what that difference is. Probably $30 to $40 a square extra. And look in the comments for the people that watch this far. It's going to piss some people off, but that's the truth. There is no extra effort. They're a little heavier. They're a little heavier to carry. That's all. They're a little heavier to carry around. Not significant, though. So don't get screwed on that either. In the end, force your contractor to follow the contract. Don't let them begin work on your home until they follow the contract. That's my opinion. If you don't let them start, then it's easy to get what you want. But a lot of times people let them start and you're off to the races, especially once they're done and those taillights are out of view. Happy roofing.